Welcome everyone to Führerreich, and we are gonna be taking a shattered nation, the Ottoman Empire, sitting just boxed in Anatolia by the evil Western heathens who have taken our lands and our greatness, and we shall hopefully send them all back where they came from, make sure that the Ottoman Empire is strong again. So, yes, I'll be playing the Ottoman Empire, which seems like it's going to be a pretty damn interesting little country to play with. So we're going to be seeing what we can do, and hopefully not get crushed. Not get crushed, because we are starting off in a very, very weak state, obviously. We've barely held on. Barely held on. After a lot of pretty bad things happening to us, we've only got 17 factories, and yeah, our nation's not very industrialized. Our capital is demilitarized, Constantinople and Izmit, the heartland of our empire. And of course, large tracts of our glorious territory has been stolen by the imperialists. Kingdom of Italy, Hellenic Republic, France, and we're gonna have to teach them all a lesson about Islam. So, yeah, let's just try to do this. Alright, get some steel from the Russians, who maybe are gonna help us, despite, them being evil Reds. Anyway, so the Ottoman Empire starts off with the liberals in power, the Hurriyet ve Itilaf. And yeah, Führerreich. What do you mean, party popularity? I think this is the Kaiserreich system. Yeah, nothing has changed. Okay, all news events, and yeah, we start off with a very tiny army of 9 divisions. I think you're gonna be the best. What kind of divisions are these? Bad. So. Ooh. Looks pretty bad. We have the Ottoman Public Debt Administration. So we are in a terrible state. Plus 15% factories, consumer goods, and then Sick Man of Europe, which is, yeah, just bad. So when the Ottoman Empire had joined the Great War on the side of the Central Powers, they had not expected the tough battle and disastrous defeat that followed. The conclusion of the Great War had seen the Ottoman Empire nearly dissolve, with the British fanning the flames of Arabic nationalism in the empire's Arabian vilayets. In addition, when the Ottoman Empire was forced to the negotiating table, they were occupied and carved up by the Entente powers, namely Britain, France, Greece, and Italy. Can we actually take any focuses now? Nope. We need the emergency session to have happened. The Sultan to have been assassinated, of course. What a way to spoil. What remained of the Ottoman Empire, which was now limited to Anatolia and Constantinople, was forced to accept the government of the Entente's choosing, with the Sultan as its figurehead. Thus, the Freedom and Entente Party had taken power in the nation under the guidance of the Entente. What followed after was a revolt by Mustafa Kemal Pasha, a brigadier general in the Ottoman Empire who had sought to kick the imperialists out from Turkey and modernize the nation. A joint Anglo-Greek intervention force ended these dreams when Mustafa Kemal and his group of revolutionaries were all defeated in a short, bloody battle. Ever since the aforementioned event, the Sultan Abdülmecid II has managed to hold on to power with the backing of the Entente. However, the political situation is very turbulent, and factionalism is very much prevalent and may crack at any time. So this is basically the situation. We are basically just a puppet of the Entente, well, in all but name. And yeah, we're gonna need to throw them out. The Kemalists have failed. The Kemalists have failed, but we might just see a way to return. The assassination of the Sultan. Oh no. In a surprising turn of events, it seems as though the Sultan Abdülmecid II was recently assassinated by an Ottoman revolutionary who was repeatedly unhappy with the state of the Ottoman Empire, reportedly. This event has come as a shock not only to many within our nation, but also international observers, all of whom are attempting to come to terms with the situation. While tensions within the Ottoman Empire has been high, following our disastrous defeat in the Great War, nobody had thought that it would come to this. As it stands, the House of Osman is attempting to consolidate their power in an attempt to avoid the collapse of the nation, and an emergency session has been scheduled by the General Assembly to discuss the future of the Ottoman Empire. Whatever may come of this, however, is yet to be seen. Many are worried that this could lead the empire to finally fall. So we gain the General Assembly as the leader. We're going to take the emergency session. And we gain the political turmoil modifier, which, as you can see, is pretty bad. The emergency session must be convened to decide the fate and direction of our nation. The fate of our nation. So here we're going to have either a consolidation of power by the Ottoman dynasty or the death of the Ottoman Empire. And I think what I will do is I will kill the Ottoman Empire. I will kill the Ottoman Empire. The current party needs to not be a authoritarian democrat. See, because you are a authoritarian democrat. Yeah, if you decide to destroy the empire, you have two choices, either the Turanists or the Kemalists. And the Kemalists are authoritarian democrats, see? So, honestly, if that prevents me from taking these paths, then anyway, the emergency session. Alright, we have finished this, and so this will start events, most likely, all over. So the General Assembly convenes. The most influential and powerful of the various parties and factions within the Ottoman Empire have assembled together today in an attempt to determine the fate of the Ottoman Empire. As it stands, the state of our empire is very turbulent, with unease and uncertainty both hanging in the air as the nation awaits the decision of the General Assembly. The people themselves, who feel as though that they are helpless and unable to change the current situation, have turned their attention towards this emergency meeting, which will determine the stability and the unity of our empire, or the lack thereof. While a majority of the attendees, especially those from the House of Osman and the Freedom and Entente Party, support the swift consolidation of power under the House of Osman. However, an ever-growing minority, mostly comprised of the Kemalists and the Turanists, have been petitioning for the destruction of the empire and the rebirth of a new Turkish nation, with voting now beginning. With voting now over and the votes being tallied, the attendees are now holding their breath, waiting to see the results of the vote. Death of an empire. The empire is no more. So, the Ottoman Empire is no more, it seems, with Parliament in favor of abolishing the empire and bringing about the establishment of a new Turkish state. So now we are going to need to decide between the Turanists and the Kemalists in the ensuing political struggle. In the meantime, we can use our national focus to take either inspecting the military, naval consideration, the air force, or foreign affairs, foreign policy. Economic affairs is still false, so that might need the London stock market crash. Yeah, this is gonna request German assistance, which doesn't seem to be too bad. Yeah, some of these military things seem like they're pretty important, so I'm gonna take inspecting the military. The dissolution of the empire. In what may have been called a very close vote, it seems as though that, against all odds, the Kemalists and the Turanist platforms have managed to succeed, with a slim majority of delegates voting in favor of the abolition of the Ottoman Empire. The state itself would be dissolved promptly, with the creation of the new Turkish state rising from its ashes. The Kemalists and the Turanists have argued for a state that is focused exclusively on supporting the needs and the whims of the Turkish people rather than the wider Muslim world. This, of course, will not endear to us the many Islamic Islamic nations, as with the dissolution of the Ottoman Empire comes the dissolution of the Caliphate. There are, however, other matters to consider, one of them being the election between the Kemalists and the Turanists, who will have to convince the delegates in attendance to vote for them to lead the new Turkish state. As the voting is beginning yet again, it seems as though most of the people are in favor of the Kemalists leading the new state, yet the Turanists may be able to scrape by with victory. And yeah, you are authoritarian Democrat, the Kemalists. So this will not let us do these revanchist kind of focuses to take over people. Like says, the current ruling party is not authoritarian Democrat, the current ruling party is not authoritarian Democrat. So honestly, I will have to go with the Turanists. National populism will prevail. And that's a bad flag. The Turkish state, we have Hüseyin Nihal Bey as the leader, and his government is going to be one focused on remilitarization and hopefully pan-Turanic brotherhood. So Turanism is essentially like an ideology that's about like uniting the Turks or ethnic Turkic people, not just Turks, but also Turkic speakers in Central Asia, Azerbaijan, although, I mean, there's endless debates going on. So essentially, it was a thing that kind of took over in the first decades of the 20th century, and it's, again, about kind of like to create a corridor from Xinjiang to Turkey of, Turkish, essentially, speakers, either as an alliance or a state. Some people even say that this should be a state. Well, I mean, I don't know exactly who, but yeah. And some extreme pan-Turanists also, like, include a lot of populations that don't really fit in there, such as a lot of minority populations in Russia, some even Mongolians and Koreans, oddly enough. Include them in, like, the speakers of pan-Turkeyism, But that's just weird stuff. So, the Turanists, following the establishment of a new Turkish state, were able to seize power and secure the confidence majority of the delegates, preaching a pan-Turkic platform alongside a strong and united Turkish state. It will be interesting to see how they will impact the nation. So we can take empire military groups or pan-Turanism or pan-Turkism. First off, we need to inspect the military. The fate of the House of Osman. Following the recent victory of Hüseyin Nihal Bey as the president of the Turkish state and the subsequent dissolution of the Ottoman Empire, it has recently come to our attention that the House of Osman and its members, who still possess significant clout within the Turkish state and the Islamic world, must be dealt with and their status in the Turkish nation determined. As it stands, we have two options available to us. We can either exile the family, sending them off and leaving them to their fate, or we can allow them to remain within our borders but remove their political influence entirely. Particularly anti-monarchist and revolutionary elements within the Turkish state have suggested that we merely execute the royal family and its members, but this could harm our reputation with the wider international community. So execute them is actually a lot of political power in the drain. Let's allow them to remain, because we're going to need every help that we can get, even those of the corrupt royal family who have led to the destruction of Turkey, or whatever. With the Ottoman Empire, a decadent entity now officially dissolved, high popularity, thank you, we can finally turn our attention to the establishment and consolidation of a new Turkish nation under the guidance of the Turanist party, aka you, Turansi Firkasi. Firkasi is supposed to be in party, I think. That being said, however, the path that we have undertaken will not be an easy one to reverse. As it stands, the general feeling throughout the year has been one of uncertainty, as the people have been unsure of whether or not the decision to dissolve the empire was a correct one. One of the biggest challenges our new regime is facing is bringing about prosperity and ensuring stability within the new Turkish state. With that in mind, however, we can begin to enter the world anew and hopefully right our wrongs. So, decisions. Civil crackdown. We'll hold a nationalist rally. Nationalize foreign industries. Huh. Yeah, because, I'm gonna explain this in a bit. Should we go down and get German assistance? Yeah, I think so. What about Mauser? How's Mauser? Would it be worth going after? I mean, it's just another infantry equipment manufacturer. Soft attack plus 10%, breakthrough plus 5%. He is the best of all of these, but I don't think it's worth getting a focus just to, you know, yeah, because focuses are expensive. Anyway, we should at least go down to this German assistance, right? Because it's probably gonna give us some good stuff. However, empower paramilitary groups, promote pan-Turkeyism, increased weapons production. I think we're gonna need to go after these arms first. Perhaps even going down rearmament, which is 100 extra towed artillery pieces, which is not bad. At least we're gonna go, you know, we're gonna go back to German assistance. So professionalization of the military. We must ensure that all of our men are in top shape, even in the event of a war. All of our men must have the assurance that they will be properly trained and supplied. Engineering, yes. So we're gonna need to be essentially modernizing our nation, because we've just essentially gotten out of feudalism. Look at these evil Greeks sneering at us from across the border, the illegal border, you know, sitting on our heartland. We shall have to destroy these fools, these infidels, these ethnic enemies. And yeah, there we go. The Portuguese state declared war on the Portuguese Republic, who are the essentially, you know, the like overseas colonies that have revolted against Portugal. I have no idea exactly the lore explanation for that. German assistance. Of course, we cannot take the British one because we are not the pro-British liberals, and we are not the Kemalists, who are actually more favor. The Kemalists actually favor the West more than, you know, like, as long as the Kemalists can regain, I guess, the territories. Although it's kind of weird, because the Kemalists are definitely in favor of the unity of Turkey as a nation and anti-imperialism, so I'm not quite sure why the Kemalists don't have the option of just trying to reclaim these lands. But yes, it does make sense that they're more favorable to the West and the Order of Versailles than the Turanists. It is vital that we turn to the Germans, who are renowned for the well-disciplined armed forces and secure military aid. So, of course, Germany here is the Valkist Reich, and, well, part of the Stahlpakt, the Steel Pact, and they've formed up with the Netherlands. We do have the option of joining the Stahlpakt. We hope, of course, that Deutsches Reich here does very, very well, because they are much stronger than we are. Of course, they've been rearming for far longer, and so, yeah. Basic machine tools, let's get some industry going. We are going to need to deal with our bad modifiers that we... Actually, wow, that's just... Wow, so forming Turkey actually just got rid of the sick man of Europe, which is, well, a little bit... Seems a little bit bullshit. Thank you. Thank you, game. I didn't want to be the sick man of Europe anyway. Okay, no need for contracts with Mauser. I would have loved it if this gave you a military factory and, you know, established Mauser in Turkey, but nope. Sorry for the sneeze. So what we're now going to do is 250% land doctrines. I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this so that I can use this research slot to get land doctrines to prepare our armed forces. And the Deutsches Reich has accepted. Oh, that has just given the contracts of Mauser focus unlocked, but it was already unlocked. Rip. I wish that it would have done something better. Alright. Rebuilding our military one step at a time. We can't do partial mobilization yet because it's not enough world tension, but we can increase conscription. Good. Although perhaps we should wait until we can get some companies and chiefs of the armed forces, all of that. Oh well, more manpower is never bad. In terms of these decisions, what can we do? Economic demobilization. So that's turning military factories into civilian factories. Oh, okay, okay. That's fine. That is fine. We are going to wait for the field exercises to finish. There we go. And now we can go down and yeah, this will upset our neighbors. That's fine. We can go down and empower the paramilitary groups. Of course, a strong leader effectively rules through keeping his subjects fearful of his wrath. By empowering military groups that are loyal to our cause, we can ensure that the people fear us and subsequently obey any orders that we dish out. Okay, now we need land doctrines. What shall we take in terms of land doctrines? I think we're going to take superior fire. Maybe trench warfare and grand battle plan. Maybe grand battle plan. Because max blinding is good. But no, I think superior firepower is going to be the way to go. Is going to be the way to go. Whoa, plus 100% encryption. That's good. Promote pan-Turkism. That gets them events. The Turkish state pursues ties. I wonder exactly what that does. All these focuses are actually 35 days, so these focus trees are in a way deceptively huge. They're still big, of course, in terms of focus trees. It's just that they're gonna be done quicker, essentially, which is good because having them be a little bit too long can be bad. All right, empower paramilitary groups. We're gonna increase weapons production. Come on, event. Okay. So Hussein Nihal Bey himself has been a proponent of working with paramilitary groups that favor a pan-Turkic policy. We can ensure that in the event of widespread disapproval, and if the scent goes high enough, rioting against our proposals, we will have a group armed to the teeth to back us up. So that's going to decrease division organization, but increase recovery rate and attack. Economic downturn. Oh no. So that is the London stock market crash, which is pretty bad, and of course that lets us do economic affairs. Ooh, a production of steel. That's not bad. Nationalization of the railways, austerity programs, subsidization of the industry. Oh, socialists rise in popularity. Days after the economic downturn, it seems as though the socialists within our nation have begun to take advantage of the situation. Indeed, leaders such as Reshad Fouad and Shefik Husnu have been active in terms of preaching the political ideology of socialism and empowering the common workers. This has unfortunately had a noticeable effect with the Workers' and Peasants' Socialist Party and the Communist Party gaining followers from the disgruntled populace. A futile gesture. The armed forces react. The armed forces apparently have not taken kindly to our policy of backing the fringe paramilitary groups and arming them with our newest weapons. They have taken to questioning our priorities with regards to military spending and have commented on the absurdity of our support of pan-Turkic military groups. Who the hell do they think they are? Oh no. Okay. Begin recruitment campaigns. While the procurement of arms is a step in the right direction, we also require men to use those arms if the need ever arises. That is why we must begin the recruitment campaigns and invigorate the military spirit of the Turks. Let's do that. And get manpower. Get manpower. We also have 35 army experience. We also have 35 army experience. As we are big, I think one thing we can do is just make big divisions, right? So this is 14. Yeah, that seems pretty good. Of course, that is going to be not enough infantry equipment, but don't worry. We'll come around to it. He's a commando and a winter specialist. Old guard officers speak out. The old guard officers have been even more rampant in their criticism, claiming that Nihal-based support of paramilitary groups over the armed forces themselves makes no sense, especially considering that the Turkish state is surrounded on all sides by enemies and will need professional forces to help defend the nation in case of an attack, or on the off chance that we go on the offensive, attack our enemies themselves. Oh, and we have the first war. Oh no, here he is. The Hamburg Commune. Hey, you know, isn't Strasser supposed to happen here? In the direction of the economy? Looks like if you do not do this, then Strasser comes around and tries to do something in Hamburg. And look at that flag. So yeah, chaos in Kiel. The history of the Kiel zone has been incredibly turbulent. Hold on. Incredibly turbulent since its inception. Originally established as an occupation zone of the Entente powers in order to maintain control over the Kiel Canal, it proved to become a hub spot for German socialists and also the birthplace of a strange prototype ideology known as national collectivism. 1927 saw the first uprising of the Hamburg Commune, which nearly achieved victory over the Danish occupying forces, however was barely defeated due to a combination of poor organization on behalf of the Commune and a few strokes of luck on behalf of the Danes. In the recent days, the Danish administration of the Canal Zone caused a series of riots to escalate far beyond their control, instigating the uprising of the Second Hamburg Commune. Yet another leftist revolution in Europe. Wait, they're leftists, right? Yeah, well, apparently these guys are a bunch of dicks. Begin recruitment campaigns, great. Huh. Crush internal enemies. Hey, at least we get one civilian factory from this focus tree. Afterwards, well, ooh, plus 20% monthly population, plus 40% monthly population. Maybe getting some industry might not be bad. Definitely this resources. These resources are important for the country because steel is good. Steel is important, and there goes a civil war in Brazil. Brazilian People's State. I believe there is actually a freeway, and Garner wins in the United States. So here you are. Yeah, so there's Prestes and the Union of Brazil, and then there is the United States of Brazil, which is just the government, and the Brazilian People's State, the paternal autocrats under Plinio Correa. South America is actually one of the places, or rather the continent with the most focus trees, which is kind of interesting. Not what you usually expect. Now, we can get extensive conscription for free. That's good. You're gonna need to remember that. Recruitment campaign. Low campaigning. It is clear that in order to pursue our agenda, we will need to begin recruitment campaigns. Of course, it will be tough to convince the Turkish population to join the army in droves. In order to circumvent this, the government shall begin a subtle recruitment campaign and increasingly become more aggressive with recruitment by stoking the embers of nationalism for the good of the nation. So I guess this will be a progressive amount of manpower. So at this point, it's 3% more than the usual, so not that much, but soon enough this will increase to many more warriors for the Turkish cause. Resource exploration, that's good. Do we need less consumer goods? No. I think we're gonna go after as many free factories, and we've pulled ourselves into a new age of economic prosperity. I think I'm gonna look to get as many like important things as possible, such as reducing this bad modifier and getting you factories. But other than that, yeah, I'll just go down to Robert College. Because other than that, you know, yeah, we need industrial development, unfortunately. I don't like really research bonuses all that much, but yeah, I'd much rather have military factories. Yeah, we're also going to need to take austerity programs. Our political power is going to head down the drain. Also, infrastructure is never bad, of course. But now, actually, in terms of our trade, we don't need to trade for steel anymore, because we have self-sufficiency when it comes to that. What is the next most important thing to trade for? I would guess tungsten, because artillery pieces will become very, very, very important. So, Portugal, give me tungsten. Republic of Hungary declares war on Romania. So Romania has annexed Transylvania, and they're trying to national populize Hungary. Of course, they are both evil people, and we don't like them. We shall make the pan-Turkish state great again. Of course, we need rifles first. But hey, rifles are a Western conspiracy. We need 80 more guns, and that should happen soon, because we've got 2 factories producing these. So that's 1 gun per day. So 80 more guns is going to be a couple of months. Good. Subsidization. Yes, that's even more glorious production. Let's just take this austerity program right away. I mean, I should have taken the nationalization of the railways first, most likely. But yeah, whatever. It's fine. This way we can take the foundation of the defense industry first. And have more military factories. And once we have... we've gone down to Robert College. After that, unless this is somehow very good, no, it doesn't look like it. Nope, it's not that great. And yeah, unless that was good, and it's not, then we can go down and do the political stuff and the foreign policy stuff. No austerity. You have to cut spending. I know, nationalize the railways, and after that, I think we'll have to call it quits for now, because I'm way over time. And I will see you next time. And it looks like the Hamburgists have been just crushing Denmark, so that's just very unfortunate for you, Denmark. Let's see. Yeah. Infantry divisions, militias. Damn. Kiel's soldiers. The Turkish state accepts. A collective sigh of relief has been released by many within the Turkish government. Thankfully, it seems as though the Turkish state has decided to accept our offer of deepening ties within our government. Sure. Okay. We have apparently accepted ourselves as a deepened ties. So that's, I guess, good. Some more political power? I don't know, whatever. Do we have an admiral? Yeah, we do. Good. We've even got an admiral. Improved machine tools. Alright. It's time to wait for you. You know, we've only got really chromium, which is very unfortunate. But hey, I guess we can build battleships. Our ideology has grown. That's good. And there we go. That's going to be the end of this for now. I want to thank y'all for watching. Hope you have enjoyed. I will see you soon. Have a good day. And yeah, see you soon with more Turkey.